So I'm trying to do the best I can for like my son's generation, my nephew's generation, for them to really fall in love with it and go against the grain. And yeah, we give up fuel mileage. We do. And it's a big deal. It's a hard. We eat that. My name's Jeremy Gouge. I'm from Garner, Iowa. The guy that you actually should be interviewing is named Jason Keeler.
Okay.
He built this truck from the ground up. The brand new frame rails, everything. So it was basically down to the skeleton of the sleeper, the cab, the everything. So it's literally a brand new A model Kenworth. We're a family trucking company. We're 240, 250 trucks between the two companies. We have IMT Transport, which everyone kind of knows me by, but we also own other companies like RML out of Pennsylvania is another one of our companies. We're into excavation. We're into sandblasting and painting. We do frame jobs. We balance drive lines in-house, have for 50 years. We're a full-service truck repair shop, a motorcycle shop, a paint facility. So anything we would hire someone to do, we just typically just do on our own.
So I feel like the connection with motorcycles is a big reason that you built this truck this certain way. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so 100 years ago, whenever, I've always been into bare bones choppers. So a lot of the guys in the industry that I'm friends with really have really done well for themselves in the name of like popularity, and I just really hit it off with those guys. And the bike that really kind of put me on the map was my 48 PanHead. It's a bare bones chopper with a Denver Springer, real short, snotty looking bike, really agile, mid controls, dual Takiko brakes. So it's kind of a cross between a 60s chopper and a modern day race bike, if there is such a thing. That's always kind of my inspiration on motorcycles. But anyways, the color of that bike was Carousel Red, which was the color of a GTO, and it just looked so good with the right amount of chrome, the right amount of this, right amount of that, that I always wanted to do an A model that color, but I didn't want one that was overdone. So, and I knew I only had one shot at using that color, so I wanted it to be a special truck, and this is special. I'm a low front end guy, and Jason Keeler, who's, he's Mr. A model, he's not necessarily a low front end guy. Jason is a purpose driven, function first, all that noise. So, but I told him I wanted this truck down and dirty, like my black one there. And everyone kind of in the underground world kind of knows that truck, and that's got a great sit to it. So I told him I would like it at least to sit the same as that. But with these big boat anchors right here, these big KTAs, which this is a KTTA, the motor's so big that it limits you on how far you can go down with the front end of the truck. Okay. So, when I say we didn't do shit. Jason Keeler did every ounce of this. Him and his dad, Don Keeler, who's like Mr. Hot Rod, So the engine is lifted up, right? So because of that creates this whole domino effect of geometry problems, because you lift this boat anchor in here up. So Jason had to hand make every single piece of intake tubing and water jackets, and I mean, you name it. Like, so everything that you can't see on this truck is the most impressive part. It's all the geometry that he put into it to get this to actually function and function properly. Like, so when you lift up a motor, the transmission comes with it that changes driveline angles, that changes the perches on the rear end. And Jason is a perfectionist, so like literally this thing is zero vibration through the driveline, and I'm very particular on that because that's what we do. But everything's like done with motorcycle precision, and not like the type of motorcycle like, oh, I'll build a cover here, a cover there to hide shitty workmanship. It's naked. Like, it's right there, pants down. You can see every weld, everything. Yeah. There's not a cover for anything. Well, I bet if Jason could make the block clear so you could see the inner workings of the motor, he would. Dual turbo setup. The problems that brings with clearance in the hood, the radiator and getting that to fit, function. Jason makes the steps, right? All the blank panels, all the sheet metal. It's like this wasn't just it was a decent cab, but it wasn't this nice. Every wire, every piece of the HVAC system, everything's literally brand new. Well, it's a shame to put a dash on it. That's how neat the wiring looks behind there. And I feel the same way about all the plumbing and the hardware for the airlines and everything. Everything's just ran with like top fuel race car precision, right? I just love that shit. So, and that's Jason's jam too. So that's what he did. So it was kind of a shame to even cover up, and that's look at the fit and finish of this plate. So I'm a car show guy, and I always look at gaps. You have to look beyond pretty colors and fancy wheels. You look at gaps, and I mean, you could take a mic all the way down this line, and it's the same tolerance on both sides. It's almost ridiculous. All this back here, you know, it's just nice, smooth, but it's not too smooth. It's not too overdone. To contradict myself, which I often do, like my A model behind you here, which is my regular. These are 7s, you know, with picket elbows. And this is an early mid-90s look, you know, and Jason and Rob Spencer and Justin Lang and all those guys, you know, they dialed that whole look in. I as with Jason nowadays and a lot of those other guys, more of a traditionalist and a minimalist. So I like, you know, they didn't have 6-inch pipes in 1982, 1983.
Right.
You know, you had 5-inch miters, and Cummins just sound really good with 5-inch miters. So visors are like really, a visor can make or break a truck. You know, and I'm like a minimalist visor guy. Like I really like a stock visor, just with a little bit of tilt to it. As you can see with a lot of our company trucks, it's kind of that same beat. This truck makes it work with the kind of that gangster looking visor just because of it's the era. But any other trucks that we would build are pretty much Colorado visor, a little bit of angle to it.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff. Tall pipes, reaching for the sky. Truck as low as you can, pipes as tall as you can. I fell in love with trucks, not because I liked working day and night with my dad and my uncles. You know, like obviously that was a huge part of my childhood and my adult life, but like cool trucks, right? Like what kid's gonna fall in love with a Volvo, right? And then if a kid would fall in love with a Volvo, is that really the kid that you want to be raising? I mean, let's think about that for a second. It's classy, it's good for the industry. I think in some ways, again, like I contradict myself, it's also a misconception as to what kind of money is in this industry, because we give up a lot of profit to do business the way we do it, to provide nice equipment. I mean, we still have to pay our drivers top money. We still provide top dollar equipment. We go well above and beyond, but though, like, I'm not in this because my wife wants to drive a Maserati. We live in an old square Iowa farmhouse, you know, and I mean, it's no shack, but it's like we don't have a real lavish lifestyle.
Yeah.
We're very minimalistic people. We like to work. I love trucking. I really fear for where trucking is going to be in 5 years and 10 years. So I'm trying to do the best I can for like my son's generation, my nephew's generation, for them to really fall in love with it and go against the grain. And yeah, we give up fuel mileage. We do. And it's a big deal. It's a hard. We eat that. You know, there's guys out there, those Volvos that I'm making fun of running around getting 9 miles per gallon. We're not getting that. You know, my gliders will do 6.5. Our Cummins will do, you know, 6.5. But you take something aerodynamic and it's hard to compete with that, and that's exactly why the manufacturers are having to fold to the government because of the wind restriction on the windshield. And that's where Kenworth actually reached out to us and we're like, hey, we have to make a change. We know that down the road, we don't know when, but what can we do? Like tell us what's attractive. And the executives at Kenworth had us on a like a Zoom meeting, and they had a pretty good looking W900, and then they had a 990 underneath it. And I was like, guys, that 990 looks like 3 different guys built 3 different pieces to this truck, and everybody put it together in one shot. And no one communicated on it. It's a train wreck. Like look at the L. If you find a way to keep those aesthetics, we can still have our, you know, don't do fake breathers like Peterbilt did. Huge mistake. I told us just keep building the kind of truck that guys like me want to buy.